join welcoming song. You are welcome here, wherever you're going to, wherever you're coming from. You are welcome here. You are welcome here, wherever you're going to, wherever you're coming from. You are welcome here, 'cause it's a house of love, a house of hope and dreams. It's a house of love, and you are welcome here. Yes, it's a house of love, a house of hope and dreams. It's a house of love, and you are welcome here. And now in Espanol. Bienvenido aquí, doquiera que vayas tú, doquiera que vengas hoy. Bienvenido aquí, bienvenido aquí, doquiera que vayas tú, doquiera que vengas hoy. Bienvenido aquí, a este lugar de amor, de sueños e ilusión, a este lugar de amor. Bienvenido aquí, si es un lugar de amor, de sueños e ilusión, es un lugar de amor. Bienvenido aquí.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Chalice Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We're delighted to have you here with us in this community of open hearts and open minds, where diverse beliefs and experiences come together to grow in love and in service. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your life's journey, you belong here. Whether you gather with us every Sunday, pop in once or twice a year, or are here for the first time, thank you for joining us. I'm Jessica Miller, the worship associate today. Our service is led by our minister, Reverend Sharon Wylie. Our worship musician this morning is Tim McKnight, and our song leader is Jeff Hayes. Our tech engineer is Hope Campbell, and our sound engineer is Jake Diock. Our greeters are Penny Bowder, Susan Llewellyn, and Paul Cartwright, and our closer is Bonnie Packard. We're delighted to welcome those here in the chapel and those of you who are joining us live on Zoom. You're part of this gathering, wherever you are. For those in the chapel, please feel free to wear a mask or step outside for your comfort. We have speakers set up so you can still listen to the service from the courtyard. We have a full house today, so if your row has some extra space, we would love for you to scoot towards the walls. This way we can keep the aisles clear and make it super easy for our fellow congregants to find seats as they join us in the next few minutes. Thank you for helping us make everyone feel welcome. It's always a joy to see new faces in service. Newcomers, we'd love for you to get connected. Our email newsletter is the best way to learn about all the exciting groups and activities that we have here at Chalice. Online newcomers will receive an invitation to join our list after the service. And for those here in person, please consider sharing your email before you leave. We have one thing that's a little different today. There's a QR code available for you to view the order of service, and that we have every week. But at that same link this morning, we also have the translation into English of one of the music pieces that you'll hear later in the service. You guys are in for a real treat today. Now, let's take a breath together. As we settle our souls into worship, we acknowledge Indigenous people with these words from Robin Wall Kimmerer, a citizen of the Potawatomi Nation and author of Braiding Sweetgrass, Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teachings of Plants. Action on behalf of life transforms. Because the relationship between self and the world is reciprocal, it's not a question of first getting enlightened or saved and then acting. As we work to heal the earth heals us. Now we light our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. I'd like to invite Brandon Throckmorton up to light our chalice this morning. Our chalice lighting words come from Craig Rowland. I breathe in the warmth of this light, its glow filling the spaces where fear and doubt reside. I breathe out the tension I carry. I release what no longer serves me. I breathe in the strength of our community, a sanctuary of diverse voices and shared purpose. I breathe out the urge to go it alone. I embrace the power of togetherness. I breathe in the courage to speak truth, even when it trembles on my lips. I breathe out the silence that holds me back. I make space for honesty and justice. I breathe in the hope of transformation, knowing we are here to build and to heal. I breathe out despair, trusting that change is born in small acts of love. As we light this chalice, may each breath remind us of the sacred rhythm of life, the pulse of creation, and the power we hold to shape the world around us.
Praise every morning. The words of our call to worship come from the Reverend Ian Riddell. We gather together today in the presence of the old, old story of death defeated by emptiness, of hope and newness triumphant over fear and separation. We come, hearts heavy with pain and anxiety, spirits flattened by exhaustion and apathy, vision darkened by strife and violence. We come seeking connection and love in this place of community. May the old, old Easter story of hope and rebirth lighten our hearts and make us glad in the presence of each other's love. May our spirits be joyful as we worship together today. And I think we're looking for space for 3 people. This is a group project. What a wonderful way to come together as community. Thank you.
The month for April is 289 in the gray hymnal, Creative Love, Our Thanks We Give. We are singing this hymn every Sunday this month to help us get to know the hymn and feel more comfortable singing it. So please rise in body or spirit to join in singing. Well done.
Our Sunday worship is the shared spiritual practice of our community, and we tend to the congregation during this time by sharing and honoring our joys and sorrows. We begin by marking a loss. Jim Brown, one of our members, passed away this week. In recognition of his physical death, we extinguish the flaming chalice that marks our gathering. We now light a candle of remembrance in recognition that Jim's influence on our community endures. Finally, we relight our flaming chalice in recognition that through our memories of Jim, our congregation is strengthened and renewed. The light of our community shines ever on. In mystery we are born, in mystery we live, in mystery we die. Here in the chapel, you are welcome to write your joy or sorrow onto a candle card, which will be collected from you. Online, please write your joy or sorrow, including your name, into the chat box. These joys and sorrows will be spoken out loud, but then we remove this part of the service from the recording that goes onto our YouTube channel, so this sharing will not be publicly available. So we have a few minutes of music so you can write down what you would like to share. And if you would like to send me a confidential note about your joy or sorrow, or to make a prayer request, please email me. My email address will be on screen in just a moment. So we'll light a final pillar candle for any joys and sorrows that may not have been named so far this morning. These unspoken, unshared joys and sorrows are also held in the love and support of our community. Now I'd like to invite the children and anyone else who would like to come forward for our story.
Our story is called Most People, written by Michael Liana and illustrated by Jennifer Morris. Most people love to smile. Most people love to laugh. Most people love to see other people smile and laugh too. Most people are good people. Most people want to help when they see someone crying. Most people want to help when they see someone who is in trouble. Most people want to make other people, even strangers, feel good. Most people are very good people. Some people do bad things. They yell bad words. They lie and steal. They bully and hurt and destroy. But most people don't do those things. If you could line up all the people who want to be good and all the people who want to be bad, the good line would stretch from here to the tallest mountain. All the people in the bad line could crowd together in a dark and gloomy room. People who do bad things can change. There is a seed of goodness inside them, waiting to sprout. Most people love the sunshine. Most people love the earth. Most people love watching things grow. A person who is frowning and mad, or sad, or mean, is like a sour grape in a bunch of sweet grapes. That person would almost always rather be happy, smiling, and laughing. Everyone looks nicer when they smile and laugh. When you see something bad happening, you may soon see someone trying to help. The helper might be you. Someone is always there being good, because being good is what most people do. Most people like to run and dance and play, or share stories with someone they know, or snuggle with someone they love. Most people like a kind word. Most people like thinking good thoughts about others. Most people smile when they see a baby. Most people glow when they hear or say, "I love you." Most people in the world know that most people are very good.
As the children leave for classes, we join in singing. We hold you in our love as you go, Your heart be at peace as you go, to nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go.
January 21st was the inaugural prayer service, attended by President Trump and many other newsmakers. The service was led by the Right Reverend Marianne Buddy, the Episcopal Bishop of Washington. She made news by pleading with the president to show mercy to immigrants and LGBTQ people. That plea was part of her sermon calling for national unity. This morning's reading is excerpts from the rest of her sermon, some of which did not make the news. This is the same reading we heard here at Chalice the Sunday following the inauguration. Her words: "As a country, we have gathered this morning to pray for unity as a people and a nation, not for agreement, political or otherwise, but for the kind of unity that fosters community across diversity and division, a unity that serves the common good. Unity in this sense is a threshold requirement for people to live in freedom and together in a free society. It's the solid rock, as Jesus said in this case, upon which to build a nation. It's not conformity, it's not victory, it's not polite weariness or passive passivity born of exhaustion. Unity is not partisan. Rather, unity is a way of being with one another, that it encompasses and respects our differences, that teach us to hold multiple perspectives and life experiences as valid and worthy of respect, that enables us in our communities and in the halls of power to genuinely care for one another, even when we disagree. Those across our country who dedicate their lives or who volunteer to help others in times of natural disaster, often at great risk to themselves, never ask those they're helping for whom they voted in a past election or what positions they hold on a particular issue. And we are at our best when we follow their example. And so what are they, the foundations of unity? Drawing from our sacred traditions and texts, let me suggest that there are at least three. The first foundation for unity is honoring the inherent dignity of every human being. In public discourse, honoring each other's dignity means refusing to mock or discount or demonize those with whom we differ. Choosing instead to respectfully debate our differences, and whenever possible, to seek common ground. And if common ground is not possible, dignity demands that we remain true to our convictions without contempt for those who hold convictions of their own. The second foundation for unity is honesty in both private conversation and public discourse. If we're not willing to be honest, there's no use in praying for unity because our actions work against the prayers themselves. We might for a time experience a false sense of unity among some, but not the sturdier, broader unity that we need to address the challenges that we face. Now, to be fair, we don't always know where the truth lies, and there's a lot working against the truth now. But when we do know, when we know what is true, it's incumbent upon us to speak the truth, even when, especially when, it costs us. And the third and last foundation I'll mention today, a foundation for unity, is humility, which we all need because we're all fallible human beings. We make mistakes. We say and do things that we later regret. We have blind spots in our biases, and perhaps we're most dangerous to ourselves and others when we are persuaded without a doubt that we are absolutely right and someone else is absolutely wrong. Because then we're just a few steps from labeling ourselves as the good people versus the bad people. And the truth is that we're all people. We're both capable of good and bad.
Happy Easter. Easter morning, a time of celebration in the Christian tradition, the celebration of the resurrection of Jesus after his death at the hands of empire. The affirmation that life can overcome death, love can overcome hate, peace and hope can overcome fear. This is the good news of the Christian tradition. Salvation related to Jesus. And we know that can mean a couple of different things to different sets of Christian, right? There's many different branches and sects of Christianity. And we're familiar with these ideas. The idea that Jesus' sacrificial death is atonement for all of humanity, that Jesus' followers, Christians, need not fear being punished in the afterlife, punished for their sins, that Jesus has freed them from that fear, and that sort of the critical piece of salvation is to believe in him as God and believe in his sacrificial death. And another idea in Christian tradition, that salvation comes from following the model of Jesus, wanting to follow his teachings that we shouldn't worship at the altar of greed, money, and power, but instead turn our attention to the poor, the hungry, the suffering, the marginalized, and that's where we best serve our common good together. So this sort of distinction is summarized in the kind of pithy saying, deeds or creeds. Creeds, having the right belief. Deeds, taking the right action. And in a way that we can understand Unitarian Universalism as coming out of Christian tradition, we could describe ourselves as a post-Christian religious community. We're kind of firmly land on deeds, not creeds. We are far more interested in what many of us are doing to live our values than we are in professing the same beliefs together. If we all had a chance to speak for a few minutes about what we believe about whether there is or isn't a God and what salvation means, I think we'd hear 100 different ideas. We are interested in hearing from each other, but we're not preoccupied by having to believe the same things together. What we have together are our shared values, and we hope to be living up to those values and honoring them in how we live our lives. And again, each person in this room could share how in your life you're trying to live your values and honor your values. That's important to us collectively. So yeah, that's the good news of the Christian tradition of salvation. Ours is not as, I don't want to call it simple, but ours is complex. So we talked about this in January. What does salvation mean to Unitarian Universalists, particularly when we don't always, for us, finding our common ground is our work. How do we get there together? What does it mean? And again, we aren't preoccupied so much by the afterlife and an idea that there could be punishment. Some of us might believe that, but the word universalism points to all of us being saved, which many of us interpret as there being no hell. So for us, where we're turn our attention more often and where we see hell is here in this lifetime on this earth, and hell is what humans create for each other. Hell is the injustice around us, and that our work is to, try to heal that and overcome it. So in January, when we talked about salvation, and I do mean we talked about it, it was not so much me preaching as us popcorn talking together, but we started with the questions: what do we need saving from, and what will save us? And Trump was fresh on our hearts that inauguration week. And where we arrived, sort of tentatively after half an hour, is the idea that what we need saving from in this lifetime is the worst that humans can do to each other, and that what will save us is the best that humans can do to each other. And then we needed to move along because so it took us a while to get there. So this morning, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about what that might mean and how that might look. And we sort of left with the idea that we should be working towards being our best selves. And as I've thought about it since then, I feel like, well, let me back up for a second. When we talk about theological questions, we have to interrogate them about where do they lead us in terms of our real life practices. So if you teach a young child that Jesus or God will always protect them and keep them safe, The danger is that they don't know how to keep themselves safe. They may engage in dangerous behaviors, imagining that God is going to keep them safe as they, cycle into the street or jump off the swing or whatever. We have to think about the real life applications of our theological beliefs. And I think one of the dangers of the idea that the best of humanity will save us is that that's a really high bar, and it may cause us to withdraw from humanity, right? I can be my best self alone in my living room, peaceful. I have no mean thoughts towards anybody. And I don't read the news. It feels really, the less I read the news, the better in touch I am with my best self. And that's not where we can let our theology lead us. We need to be engaged with the world. All of our talking about salvation that day was about how we interact with each other. So we have to be clear that we want to be our better selves, I would say is maybe a gentler phrase, our better selves in relationship with all of us, including people who disagree with us. And that's why I wanted to hear Reverend Buddy's words again. We'll probably hear it again in a few months. I need that sermon every morning that I wake up. How do we speak up for what's important to us and engage, if and when we can, with people with very different ideas and hold our respect for them, be honest about what we're thinking and feeling, and yet not demonize other people. And that's why we heard our story this morning. I hope that can be a mantra for you as it is for me. Most people are good people. Those aren't the people who make the news. When we read the news, we're going to be reading about some of the worst of humanity. That's the nature of the news. So that's our tougher task, is what I'm reminding. Our salvation is to be our better selves. So let this be a joyful time. I think that our being in community together is more important than ever, because if we're to try to live in to the better selves we want to be, to engage with people with different ideas and to not shy away from those conversations, and to be honest and yet respectful, to not mock and belittle other people. First and foremost, don't try to have these conversations online. It just doesn't lend itself to that. If we're to move back towards national unity across our differences, it will need to come from face-to-face interactions. And I know there are those among you who feel curious about that. How can we make that happen? How can we start to have those discussions? So, that's work ahead of us. And I think also work ahead of us to help call other people in to these ideas of setting aside mocking and belittling others in favor of difficult conversation. And Reverend Buddy calls us to finding common ground, not necessarily changing other people's minds, although that's the hope of our hearts. But if we can try to listen to each other about our shared values, 78 million people don't want to tank the country. We all want a better world. We may disagree on what that looks like and how to get there. But yeah, we can't lose sight of the humanity of people who may have different beliefs and ideas than we do. So I just wanted to close by reading you some of the things you said in January about what we need saving from and what will save us. And I know, so I want you to hear particularly what we need saving from. I think we have a tendency to think about that in other people, but to reflect on ourselves. Are we living in fear? Are we selfish? We need saving from oligarchy, from racism, from despair, from negativity, from the great harm we're capable of doing each other. We need saving from demeaning and mocking people, from greed, from hopelessness, the normalizing of cruelty, saving from our own impatience about how long it takes to overcome injustice, from a lack of empathy, from hubris, and from demonizing others. And what will save us we are capable of great good, honesty, taking action we can take, doing what we can. I know many of you have been out protesting, and I hope that that is uplifting, being with other people, being visible for what's important to you, staying calm, being in community, finding joy. I hope this morning is a time of joy, and to know that joy is an act of resistance. Seeking a historical perspective. We have made it through times of terrible injustice before. Let's be inspired by those who have come before us. Using our privilege to support vulnerable people. Respect for people of different opinions. You said that. You said that. Curiosity, our courage, clarity about our priorities. So, yeah, may we return ourselves again and again to the centering idea that most people are good, including us, and that we can use our goodness to help fight injustice and to heal what's broken in our world. May it be so.
Please rise and body your spirit to join in singing hymn number 266 from the gray hymnal, Now the Green Blade Riseth. Now the green blade riseth from the very grain. We the dark earth many days has lain. Love lives again, that with the dead has been. Love is come again, like wheat that springeth green. In the grave they laid him, love by hatred slain. Thinking that never he would wake again, laid in the earth, like rain that sleeps unseen. Love is come again, like wheat that springeth green. When our hearts are wintry, grieving or in pain, love's touch can call us back to life again. Fields of our hearts that dead and bare have been, love is come again, like wheat that springeth green.
When we donate our offering to a local organization that makes a difference in our larger community. This month, our offering supports NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, San Diego chapter. NAMI San Diego provides support, education, and advocacy to individuals and families in our community impacted by mental illness, providing vital services at no cost to those most in need during these unprecedented times. NAMI San Diego programs include Encampment Resolution Outreach Team, a long-term case management team that follows clients from street encampment to moving into a unit of their own and beyond with intensive case management to sustain their housing long-term. Low-cost counseling. NAMI clinicians provide short-term counseling to help clients address specific challenges, such as coping with change, depression, anxiety, PTSD, grief, dealing with interpersonal challenges, and more. And the Warm Line, a non-crisis phone service run by peer support specialists who have lived experience. The helpline, a phone service designed to connect individuals and their family members with resources in the community. In these challenging times, NAMI's work is more important than ever. Please text your donation to Chalice. If you haven't texted a donation before, know that once you text the amount, you'll get a reply with a link to follow to enter your credit card information. If you haven't entered this information previously when you've donated, or if you have entered it, you won't need to enter it again. Please use the word justice after the dollar amount to be clear of your intention. If this donation is meant to be part of your pledge payment, please be sure to indicate the word pledge after the dollar amount. The phone number for text donations will be on screen in a moment. If you prefer to make an in-person donation of cash or check, there are envelopes and a donation box to the left of the chapel double doors. You can leave those donations after the service. Please give generously. And dedicating our offering with words of affirmation. At Chalice UU Congregation, our mission is to inspire individual and communal spiritual growth.
J'étais déjà l'homme, ce loutre sacré, qui coule calme et sombre, éveillé par le chant des oiseaux tabageurs. Oh, matrice, c'est l'île où je veux s'asseoir. Les poissons
Beautiful. Reflection words from the Reverend Julia Hamilton. Spirit of hope, settle into our bones on this Easter morning. Remind us once again that the dawn light is never a gamble. If there ever was a sure bet, it is the sunrise. Even stones crumble. Even grief changes and shifts, and death is a mystery that is certain but not solid. But hope is like the sunrise, eternal and bone-bred within us. We are creatures built by sunshine and cannot carve this hope out of our bones if we tried. And yet people have tried to entomb the light, tried to seal off the morning. Emperors and kings, priests and patriarchs have brought down death, certain but not solid, on any who point to a new dawn. In these fearful moments, we can be forgiven if we stumble and doubt and deny. But still the sun rises and calls her children into bloom. Always, she says, always I will return. So don't despair, all is not lost. The small ways of the petty tyrants never win. So place your money on the sunrise. Who are we to bet against glory?
Please rise and body your spirit to join in singing hymn number 269 from the Gray Hymnal, Lo, the Day of Days is Here. Lo, the day of days is here. Alleluia. Festival of hope and cheer. Alleluia. At the south wind's genial breath. Alleluia. Nature wakes from seeming death. Alleluia. Fields are smiling in the sun. Alleluia. Lips and streamlets seaward run. Alleluia. Tender blade and leaf appear. Alleluia. 'Tis the springtime of the year. Alleluia. Lo, the Easter tide is here. Alleluia. Music thrills the atmosphere. Alleluia. Join you people all and sing. Alleluia. Love and praise and thanksgiving. Alleluia.
Come from Craig Rowland. As we extinguish this chalice flame, may the warmth of its light remain with us, guiding our steps and our hearts. Let us carry forward the strength of this community, the courage to speak truth, and the hope that transformation is possible. In each breath we take, may we remember that the work of love, justice, and healing is ours to continue, both here and beyond these walls. Go in peace with the light of this gathering to illuminate your way. Love and blessings to each of you. Blessed be. You are invited to close our time together by singing the well. After our closing hymn, please return to your seats for an announcement.
We drink from the well together, cool, cool water that quenches my thirst, a thirst for justice, a thirst for joy, a thirst for a love that we're all a part of. We drink from the well, we drink from the well together. Hand in hand we are standing as one, standing for justice, standing for joy, stand for a love that we're all a part of. We drink from the well. Open the doors to the world outside, spirits renewed from within. Look for the dream in each other's eyes, the spark where a new world begins. Yes, we drink from the well together. Heart to heart we are dancing as one, dancing for justice, dancing for joy, dance for a love that we're all a part of. We drink from the well, spirits renewed. We drink from the well, stand hand in hand. We drink from the well, dancing for joy. I feel my heart swell. We drink from the well.
All right, so for those of you that ordered t-shirts and sweatshirts or chalice wear, those are here today, so you'll be able to pick those up. please give me like 10 or 15 minutes to get it set up outside because I'm doing double duty today. So maybe go grab some coffee or tea or maybe some snacks and then come find me at the table, Ann and I will be handing out your orders. That's it for today. Go in peace.